Informative explanatory essay introduction paragraphs. Hook your readers and focus on the topic. For this tutorial, the sample prompt is going to be, why do spiders scare so many people? 3 is a magical number. There are many examples in nature and art, but in writing also. So everything has 3 parts, a beginning, a middle, and an end, except a circle. Even our lives, we have birth, life, death, childhood, adulthood, old age. So in writing, everything has 3 parts. Your essay has 3 parts, an introduction, body, and conclusion paragraph. The introduction paragraph has 3 parts, a hook, background, and thesis. The body paragraphs have 3 parts, topic sentence, supporting details, and a concluding sentence. And the conclusion has 3 parts, restate the thesis, review the main points, and end with a clincher. So what is an introduction paragraph? It should spark interest. It's the first paragraph of your essay. So it should spark interest and focus your essay on the opinion or topic you'll be proving. It should not be long, really 5-7 sentences at most, but it needs to include well thought out details. The introduction has 3 parts. Number 1, a hook, and these slides will be in yellow. 2, background information, and those will be in green. And 3, a thesis statement that answers the prompt and states your opinion, and those slides will be red. So actually, your introduction paragraph, it's 3 steps, but really you should write the thesis statement, the 3rd step, first. So it says here, it focuses your entire essay, so not doing this first would be like starting to drive without knowing where you're going. So the first requirement of an introduction is the hook, sometimes called an attention getter, and it's the first sentence of the introduction. Its sole purpose is to get your reader interested so that they will want to keep reading. There are many different types of hooks, but we're going to practice these 4. Number 1, a rhetorical question. 2, surprising facts. 3, quotations. And 4, literary devices. So for rhetorical questions, there are questions that are not really meant to be answered. So for example, let's say you ask your mom for a new phone and she says, do you think money grows on trees? Or do you think I'm made out of money? You both know that the answers are obvious, so the question isn't really meant to be answered. Another example might be a question like, how dumb do you think I am? So we're going to do the sample prompt, why do spiders scare so many people? Pro tip, try to ask an interesting question that will get your reader to feel an emotion. So happiness, anger, sadness, pity, think of these emojis. Any emotion is good. So here's some examples of rhetorical questions. A, why do spiders scare so many people? Oops, it's supposed to be just 1 people. B, are you afraid of spiders? C, ladybugs and butterflies are considered to be pretty, and most people think cockroaches are gross, but why are so many people afraid of spiders? Of the 3, in my opinion, I think the most interesting would be C. Ladybugs and butterflies are considered to be pretty, and most people think cockroaches are gross, but why are so many people afraid of spiders? I think that's the most interesting question because the others are just kind of restating the prompt again, which is very common. Whenever I have students start with a question, they almost always start with the same questions. Basically, they just use the question from the prompt. And it's not very creative. They're usually quick yes or no questions that don't really interest people. And that is why, beware, most secondary teachers discourage starting with a question because it is so difficult to do it well. Second type of hook is surprising fact or statement. Surprising facts or statements give information that would surprise most people. Again, if you can connect to people's emotions, it's most effective. So here's some examples for our sample prompt. Why do spiders scare so many people? One fact that might surprise some people is that researchers have discovered that humans' fears of spiders might date back to early evolution when humans were cavemen. This might not be surprising, but it might get to some people's emotions. B. Spiders have 8 legs, 8 eyes, can lay up to 1,000 eggs, feed off of blood, and can be deadly. If that isn't creepy to you, you are rare. So of these two samples, I think that A is just very factual. It doesn't give me a lot of emotion. But B, this is my reaction. Horrified. Another type of hook, the third one we're going to look at, is to quote a respected source. So give the exact words of someone who's trustworthy or an expert source related to your topic. So for this one, why do spiders scare so many people? We have actress Jennifer Lawrence, who admitted, "Everybody told me there were no spiders, so when I saw 3, I started crying." She's not a spider expert, but a lot of people respect her. B. Spider research scientist Robert White says that it could take as little as 5 minutes to completely cure arachnophobia, the fear of spiders. So now we have an expert speaking. In this case, I don't honestly think that either of these are very interesting hooks, so I would pick either one. Between these two, I would probably pick the Jennifer Lawrence one. The fourth one is to use a literary device. So literary devices such as similes, metaphors, personification, imagery, alliteration, hyperbole, etc. can create interesting hooks. So here's some examples. A metaphor, comparing using not using like or as. Spiders are little pieces of death wrapped in scary, so comparing spiders to death. Hyperbole is extreme exaggeration. Spiders are the creepiest creatures on the planet that will send even the most burly men screaming like little girls and jumping on chairs. So it's exaggerating. Alliteration is repeating the same sound. So some people suffer at the sickening sight of a spider scampering across the room, especially if it's headed in your direction. There's a lot of S's in there. So to recap, step 1 of an introduction is a hook, or also known as an attention getter. And it's the first sentence. There are many different types, but these are the 4 we're practicing. The rhetorical question, surprising facts, quotations, or literary devices. You only need to choose one. When you choose which type of hook you're going to use, you have to decide, and you should use your judgment. Which one is the best? If someone were reading this, which one is really going to hook them into wanting to read the rest of your essay? We're moving on to the second requirement, which is background information, and these slides will be green. So requirement 2, background information, also sometimes called a bridge because it bridges between the hook and the last part, the thesis statement. So after the hook, be sure to explain the topic of your essay, give enough information so that the reader understands what your topic is and why it is important. Pretend that this was my hook that I chose. Spiders are the creepiest creatures on the planet that will send even the most burly men screaming like little girls and jumping on chairs. And now I need background information about spiders. So, although many people think that spiders should be appreciated, and despite the fact that the majority of spiders are not dangerous, the fear of spiders, also called arachnophobia, is one of the top 10 fears around the world. So whatever your topic is, you can explain the hook more, or you can give facts about whatever the topic is. So this is spiders. I just talked about spiders. Ready for the third part of an introduction, the thesis statement. This needs to answer the prompt and state your opinion, and these slides will be read. Okay, so again, this is the last sentence of an introduction, and it is your opinion, it answers the question, and it often includes a preview of the main reasons that you will prove in your body paragraphs in the order. So they're listed in the order of the paragraphs. So for the sample prompt, why do spiders scare so many people? I made a circle map with all the reasons that I think they're creepy, and then I categorized them into 3 categories. So again, the magical 3. And I figured that a lot of these have to do with how creepy they look. So they're 8 eyes, they're 8 legs, they're hairy. So those were all looks, appearance. I circled the actions that creep me out. They're really fast, they invade our homes, they spin webs, and then they're dangerous. So they bite, they have fangs, they suck blood. So this is how to write a thesis statement. So a sample 3-part thesis. So a 3-part thesis is for a 5-paragraph essay. You have 1 paragraph intro, then you have 3 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. So each item for the body paragraphs is one of the reasons. So you start off with the topic. If the topic was, should schools have uniforms? The topic is school uniforms. The opinion, should be used if I were for it. And then the reasons, these are 3 reasons why. So to make your thesis statement, you put them all together into one sentence. School uniforms should be used because students perform better, there is less peer pressure, and it looks more professional. So these would be my 3 body paragraphs. I would prove that they perform better, less peer pressure, and looks more professional. For the why do spiders scare so many people? This could be a sample 3-part thesis. So spiders scare so many people because they can be dangerous, look creepy, and act scary. So here's my final thesis put together. So remember, in real life, we would do the thesis first because then it makes the rest of the essay easy. You already know. When you do the details here, you should put them in order from weakest to the strongest. So I think their scary actions are the strongest, so I would put that last. So you should memorize the 3 parts of an introduction: hook, background, thesis. If you have trouble remembering, just say it over and over. Hook, background, thesis, hook, background, thesis. And think about what each part does. So the hook hooks the reader, the background gives background, and the thesis gives your opinion. There is an online thesis statement generator. I've tried a few tonight to try them out, and this one seemed to be the best one. It's very interesting, so it just has you fill in the details and it will help you craft your thesis statement. And it even gave tips on how to structure the rest of your essay. It even wrote sample topic sentences for your body paragraphs, which was pretty amazing, but you won't have access to a website all the time, so you should know how to do it, but I thought it was an interesting tool.